can I have another wine?
You're listening to the Giggle Gang podcast.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
If you want it, just come get it.
A Giggle Gang podcast.
Just be myself.
For fuck's sake.
You know, sometimes people pay me to say ridiculous shit, and sometimes I just say it for free.
Jesus Christ.
You're listening to the Giggle Gang podcast.
Why are you drinking red wine in the middle of the day?
It's blackcurrant. It's blackcurrant juice. Waitrose blackcurrant. Promise, smell
you
it.
shop at Waitrose?
Yeah, we've got Waitrose in the village. And Aldi, and Lidl, and Tesco.
Wow.
And Pound Stretcher.
And you never go to Aldi and Lidl?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were
We
trying
have one in Wilmslow, Lidl. I love it.
You were trying to portray like this middle class.
No, but we have a little Waitrose in our village. And the Co-op. I shop at them all. That's what everyone does these days.
What's the village called?
Old the Edge.
Oh, right. That's not a village, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite big, though. I've been to
No.
Old the Edge. If I've
Been to the
there,
Edge.
If I've been there, yeah.
It's gorgeous, actually. Yeah.
There's pictures of me. I broke my glasses yesterday.
Macclesfield.
Yeah. See how my glasses
Wobbly,
are broken. Do you know what happened?
No.
So, have you heard of the game Pokemon Go?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
Do you know what children play?
Yeah. There's one for adults.
Okay.
You're not collecting Pokemon, you're collecting parcels and prizes, right? Ben Hart told me about it.
I know Ben. I
right?
love Ben.
And he was, it's called Snatch, okay? And I was
Nice.
walking through Menston in Yorkshire, and I was looking at the thing, and I was trying to get close to a parcel so I could get it. And it's like, they give you like 3 months worth of like wine and that, and then obviously if you stay on, they try and get you to subscribe to it. Same with like Now TV. They give you like 2 months of Now TV in the hope that you forget, and then they've got an extra sign up, right? And as I was paying attention to this game, I walked straight into a pole that didn't even have anything on it. It was just a pole. Like, it was nothing. It wasn't
Good.
a telephone pole. It wasn't
You
a
deserve
sign.
to for playing Pokemon Go.
Well, it wasn't. It was adult Pokemon Go, but
Still-
it was bad. So there's a big like egg. Can you see the egg on my forehead?
Small
there?
egg.
Well, it's because I got ice to it. You know, it was quite big
You're just
last
a typical
night.
guy. He says it's a big egg, but it's a small egg.
Well, I always like to, hyperinflate
Exaggerate.
the size. Yeah, that's my thing.
It's 7 inches, the egg on my head. That's not what your fiance says.
Yeah, no, she was calling me a ghost and a unicorn because I had this big thing coming out of my head.
It's gone down, believe me.
And I've broken my glasses. And I'm just a bit sad.
Well, you and Ben are both to blame. You losers. Why are you walking through Yorkshire playing a game on
We
your
were
phone?
on the way to a pub quiz in which we came second.
Very good.
Which got us no prizes.
What, you and Ben?
No.
You and your fiance?
Yeah, and her mother.
Cute.
Her mother just laughed at me as well. There was no like maternal
I would have laughed at you.
instinct that kicked in, and she goes, because her mum's a teacher, she goes, "Oh, there's so many students that are going to find this hilarious tomorrow." I mean, do you like it when your kids get injured?
No, but mine are small.
Oh.
They're 3 and 5.
It's not as funny.
So, yeah, you're a grown-up. You're not a kid, okay?
But I'm someone's
No.
kid.
I mean, I have laughed at them, but no, once you're an adult, Matty, that's just embarrassing to fall over while playing a computer game, whatever the fuck it is. Break your glasses. Sorry.
It's nice to have you here.
You're welcome. I'm putting my coat on. I'm cold.
Sorry, do you want to turn the heater on?
No, it's fine.
Are you okay?
No, I'm saving the world. I'm going to put my coat on. Don't put
Okay.
my coat on.
Are you? What's your views on environmental issues?
No, I recycle. I'm an avid recycler, actually.
Okay.
My only problem... You know what the worst thing is? Obviously, if you do care about the environment, you have to change your behaviour in certain ways. I just fucking love flying. What's going on?
Oh, right, okay, travelling.
I love travelling. So, like, I always feel as much as... Like, I've stopped using wipes recently.
Baby wipes.
Yeah, and also on my face and stuff.
Okay.
Because it's bullshit. None of them are biodegradable.
Okay.
And, recycling and trying to eat less meat and all that stuff. And I'm really like, turn off the lights, turn off any chargers that aren't used, save electricity. And like just now, I'm saving the world by putting my coat on rather than asking you to put the heating up. But, that's totally negated by the fact one of my favourite things in life is travelling around the world, which really generally, I haven't got the time to get like a train to Kazakhstan. I'd have to fly.
Right.
So
how often are you going to How's it stand?
I'd like to visit all the stands in the
Okay.
future. I'm not got a
many
trip planned.
How many stands
Well,
have you
those
been to?
none of them.
Oh, really?
My aunt's been to them. She did.
Oh.
Yeah, she did a load of them a couple of years ago. But
You
I've
go
got.
to the Ukraine tomorrow. Is
Oh,
it?
wicked!
Is that close?
That's not that close, is it?
Oh.
It's Eastern Europe.
I don't know. I don't know where the stands are.
Well,
Is it near like Pakistan?
well, it's east. East. And
Eastern Europe?
It's not. It's further than the Ukraine.
It's further
Is
east than
Ukraine
Eastern.
next door to Russia, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Why are you going to the Ukraine?
Just for a laugh. I'm
That's
doing
cool.
comedy there. I'm doing comedy on
Awesome.
Sunday night.
Oh, I love
The
it.
Golden Gate Comedy Club is what the
Amazing.
English translation is. But
Wicked.
I have Russian comedy all weekend.
What's the flight there? Like 4 hours? 4 and a half?
No, I don't know.
I love how you
I've got
don't
no
know this.
idea. I've got no idea. I do a lot of travelling there.
Nice.
Because I have
Oh
nothing
yeah,
else to do. I'm
you're
very
Australian.
bored.
So every time you go back and forth to Australia, you're ruining the world.
Yeah. I never think about that though. I always think it's
Well,
the
then you don't
airline's
care about
fault. Yeah, they've
the
ruined
airline's
my
fault, the
world.
government's fault. It's just
And
one
the
of
flight
those.
is expensive enough because Ryanair do offer a like offset
Yeah,
carbon
yeah, yeah.
emissions.
I've seen
so
that.
you give them like £3,
Yeah.
and then who do they plant a tree?
I think
with
they
that,
plant
or-
a lot of trees
Okay.
for you to apologise for your flight.
Are they really doing that though? Because I feel like Ryanair is one of the most dishonest companies.
I hate Ryanair.
Yeah. I fly with them a lot.
But I still fly with them if they're the cheapest airline.
They treat me very nicely. I think I'm in some sort of, without knowing, you know how like British Air have like Club BA or whatever, they have like, you know, their own like members club, right? I think Ryanair have one unofficially because every time I do it, I always choose random allocation, but they always give
yeah.
me emergency exit row.
Oh, nice.
For
Do
free.
they?
Yeah. And I think it's because I might have booked about 20 flights with them in the past 12 months.
You think they recognise you?
Probably.
They don't.
You don't think so?
No, I
I'm
don't.
just a number.
I always choose random allocation so that
But
I
I've
don't.
had emergency exit row the past like 7 flights, like without fail.
Nice.
Every flight.
I choose random allocation so I don't have to sit with my kids. You know, and they're always like, you have to pay to make sure you stay together as a family. I'm like, no, don't make me stay with my family.
I do that
I want to
with my
sit on my
fiancé.
own and read the Times.
She goes, are we sitting next to each other? I was like, it's Ryanair. She goes, it's only £6. I said, that's exactly why we're not sitting next to
Yeah,
each other.
I wouldn't do it on principle, and also it's quite nice to sit on my own and not talk to anyone.
Oh, it's glorious. And I love people that come and they go, oh, my
Yeah.
girlfriend's there.
Can you
Do
move?
Want to swap seats?
Yeah.
And I just go, nah,
Yeah.
you should have paid for it.
Yeah, and not just that, like for 2 hours.
Have some alone time.
Yeah.
Watch it- watch
Losers.
it
You're
through.
going away for the weekend. You need to sit next to each other for 2 hours on the way to Palma. Grow
Yeah.
up.
And especially if I get next to like a really like small person, like a lot smaller person. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
winner,
happy
winner.
for the room.
Yeah,
know?
because you're quite large.
I know, I'm very big. I'm a huge yacht. You just attacked me. I've never had someone come in guns blazing. It's usually me.
The first 5 minutes.
I feel like I'm on the back foot with you because you're a woman who knows what she wants. I feel like there's
I'm just
nothing.
I'm just a horrible woman.
I feel like there's nothing I can say that's going to like irk you.
Probably not.
You know, have
That's
you
quite
ever-
true, actually.
When's the last time you were really like shaken up? What a line of questioning.
Yeah, I guess I'm not easily shocked.
What about a car accident? Would that shake
No,
you?
actually, a drunk driver drove into me last Christmas. Not the Christmas just gone, the Christmas before.
Okay.
I did have my kids in the car, and he was pissed out of his fucking face. He was. Can I swear, by the way?
Absolutely,
Sorry.
you've already done it heaps.
I know. Sorry, I'm terrible. He was over 4 times the limit.
Wow.
This was like 5 in the afternoon.
Did he try and do a runner?
He couldn't. He was slumped over. He could barely get. Well, first of all, he'd hit us. We went into this embankment to swerve to avoid him, and then he hit a tree, was slumped over off his face. The police came. He could barely get out of the car.
Because he was trapped.
Because he was so pissed out of his face.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And they actually said to him, as he was getting out of his car, and they'd tell him to get out, he couldn't get out of the car without holding onto it. And they were like, let go of the car, and he couldn't. And I lost my shit at him then.
Because he was so drunk.
Because he was so drunk. It was 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I had my kids in the car.
Yeah.
We were fine. The car was written off. But I was
What sort
like,
of car was it?
a 4x4, thankfully.
Okay.
But
High NCAP safety rating or whatever.
yeah, but to be fair, that was one of the things. He had a low, pretty shitty car. We had a 4x4, and actually, if we'd been in a lower car, it would have been a lot worse.
Right.
So
So you're saying buy high cars?
yeah,
Okay.
buy a high car, even if it's a shitty car, buy a truck version of a car. Well, just ideally don't run into drink drivers or don't let them run into you. But yeah, I lost my shit then. I think that was because my kids were involved.
Yeah. I ran into a woman who had her kids in the car.
Did you?
She was
Were you
very
drunk?
helpful though. No, I wasn't drunk. I was in a back street that I didn't know. I was dropping a friend home. And I sort of just came out and I was sort of driving and I was sort of fiddling with the phone trying to figure out where I was going because I was a bit lost. And I'd slowed down a bit and then I was like, right, I know where I'm going.
Let's
now.
go.
So then I sped up, right? And I literally just ran through a give way sign. So I should have stopped. She had right of way. She comes through. Now she was going pretty quick, right? Because I went through, looked, and she was just there. So she actually smashed into me. Her car went off that way there and went into a fence, and my car just spun where it was, spun about 4 times. And then so I got out.
Did you get done?
Yeah, I lost my license.
Did you?
Yeah.
Without due care and attention?
Yeah,
Or not dangerous driving?
Well, I just ran a give way sign. So
Yeah.
failure to give way.
That is your fault.
Yeah, and then...
You lost your license?
Yeah, I didn't have... you know how you get demerit points? And I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
on
yeah.
like a provisional license as it was because I was only a child.
First couple of years.
Yeah, so they fucked me over there. And then it was obviously expensive, like, because my car, I only had enough insurance to pay for the damage on her car. So my car was basically gone.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
had the third party, you know. So she was all right. But she was like, are you all right? And then she was like, my kids were in the car. And then she had a bit of like a blow up. And then I started crying. Because I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, you kids.
And you're shocked as well.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I was like, are you kids okay? And like as soon as she saw that I was like a bit of a caring bloke, she was like, no, it's all right. And then I think we ended up both crying at one point. And then some woman's like, have you called an ambulance or the police? And we're like, no. And then you
fell in love, and that's who you're engaged to.
No.
I know.
Imagine that though.
Yeah.
How did you meet
Some
Mum?
weird
Well, she was married to another
rom-com.
man. But then she T-boned me at an intersection and we made love.
At the intersection. Then we rang the police.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of drunk drivers though, on the way back from the gig in Skipton, what is it with this country, right? And like highways or stretches of roads that are not like back roads, like proper highways.
A roads.
But there's no fucking lights on them.
A roads. I think they're like the most dangerous roads in the country.
So hang on, what is an A road?
So it's like a fast road that often doesn't have lighting at night. Not necessarily like a country road, but like they're often quite straight, fast roads, main roads, but not motorways.
Yeah, this was like a dual carriageway.
Yeah, dual carriageway.
And like the speed
So you
was
can do
90
like
mile an
60
hour. No, I think it
or
was like
70. If it's dual carriageway, it's 70.
Oh, right,
if it's
mine was
single carriageway, it's 60.
Right.
Remembering my highway code here. Have been on a couple of speed awareness courses too.
But
yeah, you can go fast on them.
Okay.
And yeah, they're pretty dangerous. They're the most dangerous roads, I'm sure, in terms of deaths.
Well, we were on one of those, and we were driving. We were in like a bloody Toyota Echo, like the shittest car. Now, Dave Borden's behind the wheel, right?
Yeah.
We've got Dan Baines sitting a shotgun next to him. So, like, you know, two solid
Big
units
guys.
up front, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got me and Phil Sutton in the back, right?
Oh,
and
Phil.
We had just been at a McDonald's, and we'd seen Kevin Berry and Adam Hughes there, and they were ordering as we were sort of leaving. So we were like, see you later, boys, have a good one. Got to the car, we're faffing about a bit. We drive out of McDonald's, and the next thing we're driving along this A road, about 5 minutes away from McDonald's, and we see this car coming up behind it, flashing their lights and like changing in and out lanes, going real fast. And we're like, oh, it's Kevin and Adam, like what up? So we see them coming quite fast, and Dave's like, oh, I don't know what they're doing. He's like, I'm just going to move out of the way. So he moves right on, so almost on the hard shoulder, like away, because they were so reckless. This car like comes up right behind us, and then just like goes right around us, and then cuts across in front of us like it's going to exit, and then goes back onto the A road, and we're like, oh my god, that is not Kevin and Adam. Like, this is crazy. So like, Dave's like, I'm just going to slow down. There's no other cars there. Anyway, there's a taxi like ahead of us, like a long taxi. No, not a long taxi. Like a
limo.
No. Like a big taxi that you can fit a wheelchair in the back of.
Okay, yeah, like a van taxi.
Yeah, a van taxi, but not like a big van, like a Ford Transit, like, you know, the smaller ones in between.
Okay,
I think
saloon
they're Peugeots.
Type thing.
Yeah. But you can fit a wheelchair in the back.
But anyway.
So this car is like swerving back and forth, and next thing we just see the huge ball of light. The taxi.
Shit.
So he must have been going like 120.
Fire.
He was going, yeah. So fireball. I think it was the tyres bursting or whatever, because this taxi just swung around. The whole back of the taxi was gone. The whole front of his Ford Focus was gone, right? He spins out one way, right? We're like, holy shit, right? The taxi's like this side. He's this
You're
side.
like, Adam!
Basically blocking the highway almost. Like there's not an awful lot of room. So we then pull over right to the side. I'm like, everybody get out and get your phones and start, like, put them on strobe light or something to start warning people. Dave's got high vis in the back, right? Run up to the guy, me and Phil, and I'm like shining the torch. I'm like, are you okay? And the guy's like, just stinks of alcohol. There's alcohol on his lap. He gets out, right? And I'm like, come over here, mate. He's bleeding from the head. He's bleeding from the arm. Like, there's a lot of blood all over him. Right, I take him to the side, and I'm like, Phil, you stay here and look after him. I'm going to go and check on the taxi. The taxi driver has gotten out of the taxi, has got a cigarette in his mouth while there's petrol like pouring all over the floor. And I was like, put the cigarette down. I just grab it out of his mouth.
God.
And he was like, I just want the cigarette. And I was like, you're not having a fucking cigarette, you idiot.
You just had a massive crash.
Yeah, I was like, and he had like his wife in the passenger seat, and she was just sobbing, but like not moving, just sobbing. And I was like, check on your wife, you fucking idiot. I was so angry. I was like, put the cigarette. I said, give me the lighter. He wouldn't give me the lighter. I was like, give me the lighter now. And he handed me the lighter. I just threw it. I was just like, you're not getting the fucking lighter. I said, check on your wife. Is she okay? He's like, yeah, she's fine. She's fine. He was just like devastated that I'd done it. And so he started abusing me, and I was like, you just go sit over there, mate.
You have nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Next thing, a truck is coming at 70 miles an hour to this block thing, and we just hear this truck slam on the brakes, like the truck braked for ages. Like it was like the infinite brake, and we were all like, get everyone to the side of the road. We thought the truck was going to smash into the Ford Focus.
The taxi driver's like, my cigarette.
The truck stops just before the Ford Focus, so it doesn't hit into it, right? But the people behind it then have just seen this truck. Now the truck was like a dark coloured truck. The trailer bit, the front was white, but the back was a dark coloured trailer. The truck driver didn't think. Someone just careers up, smashes into the back of the truck, right?
Oh my God.
And then another car smashed into the back of that car.
Oh my God, a proper pilot.
Within the space of 1 minute, we've had 4 cars and a truck in the middle of the street, and Dave Borden's little Toyota Echo sits unscathed on the other side of the road.
Just observing.
And then I was like, everyone put your fucking hazards on! So like,
no way.
with strobe lights, everyone's got their hazards on. The woman who crashed into the truck was like fucking crying because she hit the truck pretty hard. She was like crying and screaming, and then we noticed she had a big bucket of Chinese on her front seat, and Dan's like, can I take that? When we were like getting her out of the car
Dan.
and whatever, and Dan was like, she's like,
wants to get fed.
Smells
great.
Smells like Chinese in his bird's car.
If you're not going to eat it.
She's crying like, oh, I don't have insurance or whatever.
Oh shit.
Oh, I can't remember. There was a lot of drama that night.
Like, did the police come?
Oh yeah, police, fire, everyone, ambulance.
And this was outside of Skipton.
This was at like 11 p.m. at night, maybe like 20 minutes from the gig and about an hour and a bit from
Was it after the gig?
Yeah.
Oh, God, thank God.
So, well, yeah, thank God. We all killed on stage, and then people almost killed themselves on the fucking highway. So it was very, very eventful. But yeah, that sort of environment, I feel like I thrive in. I thrive in a chaotic environment.
Yeah, after I lost my shit, I was very calm, actually.
Yeah.
I rang the police
Measured.
and spoke to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm quite good in bad situations.
Have you ever had your house burgled or been robbed or anything?
No.
You live in Audley Edge, so don't you?
I haven't always lived there. No, not
I
really.
used to live
not
in
I can
Chester.
remember. No. Bramall, Stockport.
Bramall! Oh, horrible
Stockport, Greater Manchester. No, I don't think we have, actually. Have we ever been burgled? No.
No?
No. Our neighbours were, and we saw blood on the carpet.
Oh.
Yeah, it was quite like dramatic. We'd gone over, and
did they not know
we
they'd
heard
been
some
burgled?
noises. They were away.
Oh,
we
right.
heard some noises, and the back patio had been smashed through. And then we went. We were like, oh, what's gone on? We're like, obviously they've been burgled. And there was like
No
blood.
one smashes the back patio
Yeah,
and picks you
just
up.
like, oh, just couldn't get you from the front door, so it's just like smash your patio.
And then smash the patio and go,
Yeah.
we'll call it a day here,
Yeah.
boys.
They're definitely not in. just wanted to check. And there was blood all over. I was like 6 or 7 years old. I remember being really quite disturbed by it.
Oh,
you know, it was like something you'd see on TV. Quite a lot of blood. They'd obviously really bad burglars because, like, everyone knows you wrap your fucking hand in sheets or I don't know what burglars do. I'll watch Home Alone again and check what they do. But you know what I mean? You wrap your hand. So they'd obviously cut themselves smashing this patio.
Yeah.
And there was blood, and we went in, and we were like, ooh, and there was stuff like knocked over, and we rang the people on holiday, and we're like, we're just going to ruin your holiday and just say you've been burgled. But no, I've never been burgled. That was a random question.
Did you? Because I always think this, right? Now, at this point, it's probably important to say I'm a really good guy, all right? Honest.
You're prefacing something awful with that.
But if your neighbours have already been burgled, do you not think just to have a poke around
like
and
a couple of things?
Maybe they see a stereo at your house like 12 months later. We had the same stereo, but it got burgled. Be like, yeah, jolly shame that, wasn't it? Like,
in fact, you're right. That's actually something, though, you should you could do with your neighbours, couldn't you? You could be like, well, while I'm here, you're obviously going to have to put an insurance claim in. Should we take a few more things, split the difference? I mean, not that I would ever do that if Cheshire Police were ever listening to this.
No, but I'm thinking take it even without their knowledge, because again...
I would never do that, because that would be not nice. We were friends with these neighbours, to be fair.
Oh, mate,
but not all neighbours.
I've been friends with people before. We've all been there.
You've robbed from them. Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't do that, Matt.
Already been burgled. I don't know. No, I'm just, I don't know.
No, I tend not to steal from my friends.
Would you say you're
unless it's
person?
Food? Yeah, I am.
What's the most dishonest thing you've ever done?
Oh, God, don't ask me that.
Please.
It's like confessional. No.
Why not?
No, because it's probably quite bad.
That's all right. It can't be worse than the stories I've told on this podcast.
No, I can't. I can't say the most dishonest thing.
Can you tell me off air? We told just me.
No.
Privately. You won't even tell just me. It must be really good.
No.
All right, tell me one. Tell me.
A dishonest thing.
Make it good.
Oh, you know what? I always feel bad about this. My mum used to have a pound box in her glove compartment, which was a stupid place to have a pound box. And I used to rob from it all the time.
Right.
When I was like...
Cigarettes or...?
No, sweets. I was like 6, 7,
oh, right,
8. Okay. I did smoke, but not that early in life. You're like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. I used to steal just a couple of quid all the time.
Yeah.
For the tuck shop at school, because I never had any like cash, never any pocket money. And I went to a private school, but I was on an assisted place, so I like a lot of the girls would have a few quid for the tuck shop, and everything was like 10p. But I never really had any money until I was older and got part-time jobs. And so I used to take, and I was clever enough, even at 5 or 6 years of age, to know I'll just take £1, which is a lot of money when you're like £2, £3 as I got older. Yeah. So that it's never really noticeable. And then I've got 5 brothers, 3 older brothers, 2 stepbrothers. And then I remember Mum realised that money had gone missing, or money was going missing, and she bollocked because my eldest brother is 8 years older than me. Right. So they at the time were like 13, 14, whatever. And she bollocked him and Jeffrey, another brother, thinking it was
do you have?
5.
5?
Yeah,
and
you're not
just
listening.
you as the girl?
Yeah.
Wow. Are they all older than you?
So 3 older and 2 stepbrothers, 1 older, 1 younger.
Right. You really were the little baby.
Yeah.
The little angel.
Not really. The little monster. But I never... So she bollocked my brothers. No one knew who it was. None of my brothers knew that it was me.
And was it...
Probably they were as well. Potentially.
Right.
Potentially. But then... But... And you know what? My mum passed away a year ago, and I always wish I'd kind of told her. Because she wouldn't have given a shit now. She would have probably laughed and been like, yeah, it was me, I just wanted chocolate. It was not like I was stealing it for bad stuff. I just wanted junk food. I've always loved sweets and chocolate, and I never had any money for it. And I kind of just wish I'd been honest and told her it was me, and you bollocked Richard and Jeffrey, and it was me all along, the little innocent 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 5-year-old.
I love how that haunts you.
Well, I just wish, because she would have laughed and been like, she would have gone, oh, darling, Natalie, don't be silly. But it's just something I wish I'd got off my chest before, you know.
You really are an honest person.
I mean, that's not that bad, is it?
No.
There are other bad things.
Can we say the bad one?
No.
Oh. Well, let's talk about going to a private school, because I think you're the first person I've met in the UK that went to
exactly.
private school.
I haven't talked about that on stage yet.
Really?
Because you just think it's going to get rinsed out of you.
Yeah.
And also because
in a non-funny environment, just, you know. This is what this is.
But also because I went, it was and it's a really interesting experience for me. Which
I will say that I went to private school as well.
There we go.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not a fellow knobhead to know a knobhead.
I'm not. No, but private school in Australia is very different.
Is it?
Yeah, it's like, like everyone sort of can do it in a way.
Right. Okay.
So in New Zealand, everyone can do it. It's not that difficult.
Right.
It's not that big of a thing. Like
financially,
if you go to private school, it's like, oh, okay. Whatever. Whereas here, it's like, oh my god, he went to a private school.
Yeah, but this is the thing that I have, because everyone thinks that because I went to private school,
parents are minted.
Yeah, and I was on an assisted place.
What does that mean?
So the government paid. So
because you were smart, or
we had to pass an entrance exam, and we couldn't afford it.
Okay.
So we all were on assisted places actually.
But was it because you were extremely intelligent, or how did you get these assisted places?
It's when you're at private school, and then my dad went bankrupt, so we couldn't afford private school. Okay. My parents split up.
But you were already at the school.
I wasn't actually. I was at a different school, a junior school.
Right.
But yeah, no. Sorry, I think I was in the first year, and then if you, basically you I passed the entrance exam, blah blah blah, but we couldn't afford it.
Right.
So the government paid. But if you bring that up, people think you're. But I was the broke one at school. Like they all had big houses, and they all went abroad.
Yeah.
They used to go on holiday, like on a plane to Spain.
Yeah.
And we'd go to Wales, unless a friend took me on holiday with her. And I did. We didn't have any money at all. There was too many of us.
Yeah.
Plus, like for a year, Mum worked really hard, and so did my dad. But. No, we didn't have any spare cash,
Interesting. I was just down in London, so my auntie has 6 sons, right? So,
6 sons. Poor thing.
So another large family again. And again, they're not well off, but they don't go to private schools. But the money they save on the schooling, they do 1 abroad holiday a year. But they're saying for the 6 kids and them, flights accommodation for a week cost, because they've got to do it on school holidays as well, 5,000.
Yeah, thousands. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I was saying, like, all the travel I do, like every trip I do, flights and accom is always under 100 quid.
Yeah, you'd never do it in school holidays, although you are going to Ukraine in the half term. But I mean, no one goes to Ukraine on a school holiday. So.
And I booked it ages ago.
Yeah.
It's fine.
No
one goes to the Ukraine after.
It's true, isn't it?
It's not really a
darling, we've booked a wonderful all-inclusive in the Ukraine.
We're going to Kiev. You like buildings.
But you know what? There's definitely something in that I'm going to mine in the future when I'm probably more confident about talking about kind of private school. Because it was interesting. It was interesting actually. It's a good learning experience being the kind of broke one. And there's only 60. I went to an all-girls school. There were only like 60 girls.
Did you live on site as well?
No,
was it one of those ones?
No, just a day school.
Okay.
Yeah,
a day school.
Yeah, not a boarding school. Like all their parents were. Well, the mums were housewives, and a lot of them. And then.
What were some of the highlights? Do you remember some of the great characters from private school?
They just had great houses, and like I remember when they turned 17, loads of them got like real. There were other kids there on assisted places too.
Yeah.
But they got like
Range Rovers.
Yeah, they got cars for their 17th birthday, like shit hot Golfs with personalised number plates.
Yeah.
Go around to their houses. Some of them had houses abroad, and it was like, fuck me, this is ace.
See, I went to...
and they used to get clothes, they'd go shopping with their mums on a Saturday and go to Ted Baker and Tammy Girl and Topshop and, Selfridges and go for lunch, with their mums and all that shit. I was like, I'd love to do that. My mum worked on Wythenshawe Market Store. She had a market stall at Wythenshawe Market.
Yeah.
I'm like, we never did that. I mean, that's a normal thing not to do that. But obviously I was kind of...
around people that was normal.
Yeah, and it's not normal. But
See, me and my brother were in this weird situation. So we were private schools in New Zealand. We came to Australia. We did 2 years at a private school in Australia. The mum and dad lost about 150 grand on investment properties they had in New Zealand.
Shit.
And basically the same thing. They were like, kids, we can't afford to send you to private school. You only got 3 more years left of school between you. So you're just going to have to go to a public school. So we went from being the poor kids at a rich school to the relatively rich kids at a poor school, and it was weird. It was weird.
There's good learning curve,
but it was all right. You know what I mean? It wasn't bad. And the smartest kids like the intelligent ones didn't come from affluent backgrounds at like
definitely.
Because they were the workers, they were the people that had to try. You know, the ones that were really well off were the shitheads, like me.
They know, they don't. Well, they've got a cushion, haven't they?
Yeah.
What they should have done is kept your brother at private school and just got rid of you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, do you know what the most frustrating thing is? My sister's 5 years younger than me. She's done all private school all the way
Really?
through.
Because they kind of got a bit of money back in the bank by the time.
But she needed it because she's thick as fuck. Like, she really needed the help.
You bitch. It's normally the girls who are more intelligent, I find.
No, definitely.
And conscientious.
Oh my God. She's just... So this is how thick she is, right? You've had children, haven't you? Okay, wonderful. So... She's studying to be a midwife, okay? She'd done 12 months of study. Midwife and nursing, okay? She'd done 12 months of study. And my fiancé decided to quiz her on some of the basics of reproduction, right? And she goes, Emma, where does the baby grow? She goes, easy, fallopian tubes.
Well, I hope not, because that's like really dangerous.
That's exactly what Hazel said. Hazel's like, Emma, if the baby's in the fallopian tube, it's an emergency. And she goes, oh no, what's the other thing called? And people were like, dunno, you're the one that paid
oh my God.
$9,500.
No way. Where's she training?
In Australia.
Thank God I'm never going to have any more children and won't come across your sister.
And do you know what the funniest thing is? So she's now in like the 3rd year, right? And she's ringing Hazel, right? And being like, when you have a baby, I'll be there I'll be the
She's like, no, you won't.
And Hazel's like, well, we'll see. We'll see.
She's like, Matty, don't let her anywhere near me.
So there's fallopian tube thing. But also, like, you don't want your sister-in-law seeing you in that moment, do you? You know what I mean? The midwife can be there for like the after bit, but not
the
main
the midwife can be there during that bit, but then you generally never see them again, which is a good thing.
Right. Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Right.
So you don't. So
definitely. If you have to keep seeing them over and over and over again.
Yeah, that would be dreadful.
Yeah.
But then, to be fair, she'll be inured to it, your sister, because she's just a vagina with a head coming out of it. Will just be like seeing pound stretcher around Manchester. It'll just be not interesting. It will just be boring.
Can you talk to me about childbirth?
Yeah. So it's really interesting because I just did some new stuff at Toby Hadoki's night at the Comedy Store 2 Sundays ago about childbirth. Yeah. And it went really well, actually. You can see some of the guys going, oh, fucking hell, she's talking about vaginas and periods. And I'm like, oh yeah, like you never talk about your penis. You never hear a male comedian talk about their cock, do you? No. Never. Childbirth was great. So I had my first through the sunroof, which is the C-section, emergency section.
That was me. I came through the sunroof.
Really? Is it because you have a massive head, like my daughter? I was a
10-pound baby.
Really?
It was like
fat head.
Basically a case of I was not only facing the wrong way.
All right. So you're breech.
But I don't know what that
means. Were your feet first?
I think first.
Or it could be that. Yeah, it could be that your head was the wrong... No, generally it's feet first. That was
I think so. I was facing the wrong way and I was very big. And they were just like, it's not looking good, Trace. Get him out.
Yeah. But I had my second, naturally, which was Ace.
Is it fun? Is it all it's cracked up to be?
It's not fucking fun. It's bloody awful. It's terrible. No, you know what? I was determined to have a natural birth.
Okay. When you say natural birth, is this no painkillers?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what you did?
Mm-hmm. But then they wanted me to have another section with my number 2 because there's this risk of rupture, scar, because obviously after you have a section you have a scar, so there's always it's minuscule, there's a risk of it rupturing if you go for a natural labour after, especially if the labours are quite close together, which mine were like less than 2 years or 2 years. And I was just determined and pig-headed, and I think it's changed even now in the last 3 years. They're a bit more accepting of it. But they kind of I wanted a water birth and all this shit.
Explain a water birth for people that don't know.
I just wanted a nice hot bath and to just like push it out.
So you lie
like in a massive jacuzzi. Okay. And they have them at hospitals.
Okay.
And there's not really any doctors around and midwives and such.
Is this dumb? Wouldn't the baby drown?
No, they don't, because the baby's in water, isn't it, douchebag? It's in a sack of water inside you.
I've never had one, all right? So don't call me.
They come out in, they don't come out in the sack. When they say the waters break, that means the water all around the baby. So
is the baby breathing, or it's not breathing?
It is breathing, but it's breathing through your through the umbilical cord. So when the baby falls, so say if it goes perfectly to plan and you're in, it's being fed through the umbilical cord. Yeah, it gets oxygen through the umbilical cord. Yeah. So if you then are in this huge, massive jacuzzi type thing, which has to be at a certain temperature, the same temperature as like the water inside you, basically, so the baby just comes out and doesn't go into shock.
Yeah.
And I've got friends who are midwives. Are going to be listening. If I tell them to listen to this, they'll be like, "You're talking absolute shit." I think I'm accurate. So you push your baby out
accurate to me,
into the water, and it's the same temperature as the water, the temperature inside you, roughly. And then obviously, you don't just let the baby dangle there, but there is no rush to like quickly get the baby out. It needs to breathe because it's attached to your umbilical cord, so it's still breathing.
Right.
And then you would bring the baby up to the surface, or your partner would, or you do it yourself, whatever, or
And then that's it.
And yeah.
Is the labour?
And it's
easier?
like hot water. Yeah. There's a definite apparent, studies, and I've got friends who've had water births. It was a bit like, if your body's fucked, you've done a run, you get in a hot bath, you feel a bit better.
Yeah.
So, and I had a hot bath towards I stayed at home until I literally nearly popped with number 2, which again, they didn't really want me to do, but I was like, I didn't want to go into hospital too early. And I had a hot bath, and my mum was there, and it was my mum who actually, I'd been in this bath like a couple of hours, it was like 7 a.m.
Were you continuing to add more hot water to the bath, or did it just stay hot?
But that's fine because I wasn't giving birth in there.
Right, okay.
And it was my mum who I was like, oh, I'm quite uncomfortable now, I need to get out of the bath. And as I got out of the bath, I had a shed load of contractions. My mum was like, babe, you need to get to hospital now.
Right.
And so we legged it to hospital. And literally, they said...
The trip to hospital, is it like in the films
painful.
where you're like running red lights and you're like screaming and shit?
And ours was at rush hour on a Tuesday.
You're like beeping the horn and trying to get people
out there? Mark was whizzing around, my husband.
Okay.
And I was like, fucking hell, having contractions on the way, like grabbing the...
You're in the back of the car.
Yeah, like literally quite movie-like. I was grabbing the seat, but I remember that because it's really hard to sit like this.
Yeah.
Sit upright while you're having contractions. You need to be on like all fours. Like a cow, basically.
So animalistic.
Just sat upright is probably the worst. They see people giving birth, just lay on their back. I mean, no one gives birth like that.
See,
that's like the worst thing ever.
The only birth I've ever been involved with is the birth of a lamb out of a sheep.
And cute. How do they do it?
Well, the lamb... not the lamb. The sheep wasn't having the best time. Was just like making this horrible like shrieking noise. And basically, the head and the feet came out first like this, and then me and my dad basically grabbed it and helped it and reached it.
And are they on all fours, the sheep? They're not like on their side or on their back, whatever.
I believe so. I
bet they're on all fours.
Yeah, it was all fours. It was almost like it was presenting because its front feet, I believe, were further down and the arse was right up in the air, so it was all leant over.
That's exactly what I was like.
Yeah, so imagine being like on your elbows
yeah.
and then on your
That's
knees.
That's
at
exactly
the back.
what I was like.
Yeah. But then having obviously, like we definitely had to like pull it out. And like the sheep, we thought the sheep was going to die, to be honest. Like that's what it sounded like. Like,
was it a big lamb or something?
It wasn't a small lamb. I don't know. I've not seen any other lambs be born. But then, so it came out. It was all covered in this shit. Right?
Yeah, which is like babies are. They're covered in shit.
And then,
well, not shit, but like blood and.
And then Dad was like, "Just leave it. So we just like pulled it out and put it on the floor. And then the sheep sort of like recovered, came over, and then like sort of sat over it and was just like licking it and cleaning it. And he was like, "Just leave it." He was like, "Don't touch the lamb. Just let the mother
Bond
and the lamb
stuff.
do it." And they basically just sorted it out. And then I think we might have washed the lamb maybe like 2 or 3 days later because it had shit all stuck all over it. But,
cute.
They sort of just took care of it. Took care of business.
Yeah, you need to be on all fours.
Yeah, all fours is the ticket.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I had a great second birth actually.
That's good.
Because
so
the first one was awful.
In a jacuzzi?
No, so they wouldn't let me do the jacuzzi thing because they basically said they had to. So if the scar ruptures, then it's like seriously shit hits the fan. You and the baby can die. So they monitor your scar, which meant they wouldn't let me do the jacuzzi thing. They made me go to a consultant-led ward where there was a doctor, as opposed to a midwifery unit,
right? Where
there's no doctors around as such. It's run by midwives. Like they can run and they can quickly transfer you to a more medical part of the hospital, but they're not on standby, so they wouldn't let me do that. Which I was pissed about.
Are you thinking of having another one so you can have a water birth?
Yeah, no, it's so funny because the midwife, she was like, "Oh, you'll be back," because I did have a good birth, and I was like, "No, I fucking won't," and I won't.
Describe to me a good birth plays a bad birth in your experience.
Well,
Or did people that you know?
I just felt really chuffed for myself after. I was like, I just did that on my own. Like, you know, it's like a bit like running a marathon. It was just like, that was awesome. And my first, you know, I was like, I just gave birth to a baby. And I'd done a load of...
the first time you didn't feel that you'd given birth to the baby?
No, I didn't. Well, I was put to sleep as well. So I woke up and was like, here's your baby. And I was like, shit. Like, I didn't even know that it had happened.
Oh,
it was an emergency that they shoved a metal rod down my throat. They said, when did you last eat? And I was like, I've just been for an Italian and had a glass of wine. I had pasta. I had dessert. Well, I was in labour at this point, but I was like, I'm going to enjoy my dinner before I kind of give birth. And then obviously this emergency had happened.
I'm sorry. All I can think is me and Hazel have reservations at an Italian restaurant tonight.
I love my food.
For Valentine's Day, and I think the worst way tonight's day can go, because I'm going to be in the Ukraine on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
the worst way it can go, she starts having a fucking
contractions.
birth, and she's like, let me finish my dessert.
That's exactly what happened. But at the beginning, your contractions aren't like super regular. It's not like on Coronation Street. You're like, and so I was, as the dinner went on, I was in more discomfort, but I was like, I've ordered salted caramel ice cream, I remember. Yeah. And a bit of red wine, because I was like, the baby's nearly here now, so it's not going to damage it. And but then obviously when they all shit hit the fan within the next couple of hours, to put you to sleep, you're supposed to have had nil by mouth for like 5-6 hours. And they were like, this was about 10 at night. When did you last eat?
They try to make you vomit it up?
Well, they put this metal rod down so that you don't vomit, because obviously then you choke on your sick and all that. So I woke up, feeling like, what the fuck's gone on? I was like, talking like this. Really sore throat. Oh my God. Really sore, because they've cut me open in an emergency section with quite a large scar. And also like, shit, who the fuck are you? It was like this little baby girl, 8'3".
Oh my God.
And so I struggled with that after for a little while, because I'd wanted this fantastic natural birth,
right?
And had gone a week overdue, and everything was fine. And that day when I'd gone into labour, it was a really lovely bright March day. We'd gone for a walk. I'd gone for dinner with friends. I'd had this glass of wine. I was like, oh, I'm in labour. This is amazing. And then it just totally went wrong.
Snatched away from you.
Yeah. And it was fine, you know. I came to terms with it.
The idea of this like PTSD after birth. Have you known anyone to encounter this?
I have, yeah. A couple of friends, or a friend's sister, and I haven't, thankfully. I mean, I'd struggled with that. I struggled with the fact that I knew my daughter, because my husband was asked to leave. It wasn't even my husband then. My boyfriend was asked to leave the room because it was emergency. So when you're put to sleep, no one can be in the room. Right. So I struggled with the idea that she was born into this just room with strangers, and like just wasn't what I wanted for her, and I just was quite sad about it. Plus your hormones are fucking crazy, and you're breastfeeding, and you're your first child, and you're like, oh my God, what have I done?
Sounds like so much fun. Really,
the first few months are dreadful.
You're selling me the magic.
It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing ever, honestly. It's just the first few months are hard, you know, especially with your first, because it's like a massive life change.
Yeah.
But you quickly get out on the piss with it, and I just used to take her everywhere with us, you know. But like, yeah, I do know people who've had proper postnatal depression, and it's awful.
And is it because their births were more difficult than
No,
yours?
I think it can happen to anyone.
Okay.
I think it's a hormonal thing. It's definitely I think it can be related to a really terrible birth potentially, because you could have almost like a PTSD after it. But I know a lot of women who've had crazy anxiety and shit like that. What kind of girl I know still does, and her kids are 4 and 6. I guess it's a kind of form of mental health issues, you know, which can be triggered by, I guess, the life change, the body change, hormones. Yeah. I think postnatal depression is very much related to hormones, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't understand women's hormones. It's all just too loud.
I don't really.
I just take a step back and just go, what do you want, darling? And just move on from there.
Tell me.
I did.
You should know what I want. You're like, that's the problem. I don't.
I did also want to talk to you about your husband, because it was the first baby a planned baby?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Did you, at any point, like throughout the journey beforehand, how long had you known your husband before you fell pregnant? Or your boyfriend at the time?
How long we've been together?
Yeah.
Like years.
Years.
A long time, yeah.
Okay. And like along that journey, would you like see him do things and say things and you think he's going to be a great father?
Yeah.
Yeah. And did that attract you to him even more?
Oh, no, because I didn't really want children.
Okay. So what changed?
No, none of that came into it at all.
Interesting.
I didn't want children really, actually.
Okay.
And
Now you've got 2.
yeah. Which I have this joke about, or which I open with a lot about. I've got my darling girl and I've got my spare, which is actually really true. I even remember being pregnant and saying to Mark, like, shit, what if I don't want this baby? I think a lot of people go through that. Well, some people are desperate for children, really want children.
What if I don't want this baby?
Well, yeah, like, what if it's a mistake? What if we have this child and it's either a nightmare, or I'm like, God, it's such a... because some people go, oh, God, it's the worst. It just changed your life. Oh, go out for dinner now because you'll never do it again. And, oh, you'll never, get your relationship back, or you'll never do anything fun again. Some people are really negative about it. And I, in my head, was like, no, we'll just take the kid everywhere with us and we'll still go on holiday. And obviously things change, but we do have a good lifestyle and take the kids everywhere with us.
Yeah.
But I remember being quite like, well... If we regret it, we'll only have one. So,
yeah.
We'll just palm it off. And my mum was around then, and she was desperate for me to have a child.
Right.
My brother was killed in an accident actually a few years before, and that was made me decide to have a child.
Wow.
How weird is that? Genuinely, that was like the real change in my...
Did it just sort of make you reevaluate life?
Yeah, it did massively. Yeah, I was 27. And
how old was he?
He was 33.
Wow.
And he was like the brother I was closest to. And yeah, it really made me reevaluate everything. And I was a bit like, what am I doing?
Did you make any other drastic changes, like at that point? Like what like employment wise?
No, so I was a jobbing actor. I'd graduate, I did a proper degree, and then I went to drama school, and I had an agent, and I was doing all sorts of just bits and bobs, theatre, bits of TV. Hadn't started voiceover then. No, I hadn't started voiceover stuff. Hadn't started comedy at all, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I've only been going like a year. And no, it was more like a relationship family thing.
Okay.
And I was just a bit like, what am I doing? What are we doing with our life? What are we doing with our relationship? So are we just going to kind of go on holiday and like go for dinner and go out on the piss and spend our money on us?
Yeah.
Just frivolous shit, which is absolutely fine if people choose to do that. But I just was like, it was just this real, and then suddenly I really wanted to have a child. Yeah.
See, when I left Australia, right, I would say I didn't want to have a child. I didn't even want to have a relationship, right? Didn't want a relationship, didn't want a child. Didn't really put any real value
on the romantic side or family kind of...
Well, just in spending time with my family. Like Christmas at my auntie's house was just what we had to do. It was a chore. It really was a chore. And it's shit. Still, it's shit. Right? But it's my shit. Do you know what I mean? And I never really appreciated it until I didn't have it. And then just like hanging out at my parents' house, just chatting to my dad about just nothing, right? I would just be like, the fuck would I want to stay home with you and talk to you? Like, I can go out with people I actually really like.
Yeah.
Like, this was my relationship
your
with
friends
my parents. Yeah,
take over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would sort of have this... very self-serving attitude towards myself and everyone who I interacted with.
Yeah, that's totally normal.
Whereas
though.
I was like, well, I was 21.
For a young guy, that's totally
and
normal.
I was basically like, if you're not giving me value right now, I don't really want to know you.
You're very selfish at that age, aren't you?
Absolutely. Then I left. And then I spent my first Christmas away from home. Spent Christmas with another beautiful family in Ireland, right? And we were made to feel very welcome. But I was like, oh, this is not my family. Like, it's all a bit weird, isn't it? But anyway, life goes on. Then, like, my mum's birthday, my dad's birthday, things were just happening back home, and I just wasn't a part of it. And I was so all right with it, and I was fine. I wasn't like, oh, I wish I was there.
Yeah.
At your 52nd, you fucking old shit.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? But then I met Hazel and I started spending time with Hazel's family. And like, we've just come from Leeds visiting Hazel's family. And now, because it's not my family, right, I I value the time I spend with them, but then I was like, I could just do this with my own family. Do you know what I mean? Like, I never actually gave myself the opportunity to just enjoy going to visit my grandparents or whatever. So when I took Hazel back,
you have that time with them.
Absolutely, yeah. We went to go see my grandparents. We went to just go chat to them. Yesterday I was chatting to her grandfather about pigeon racing. I've never watched or been interested in pigeon racing.
Growing up,
ever.
Matty.
No, but I was just curious. I was like, explain pigeon racing to me. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You're showing me this £1 million pigeon and all this shit.
And also they can be, a lot of older people can be wiser and more
Absolutely.
interesting and, you know, quite chilled and have life experience that's quite interesting to talk about.
Yeah. But I just completely discounted that. And then since spending time, now Hazel's also got a 10-year-old brother as well.
Right.
When I first met him, he was 8, right? So he was like this child, right? And then I've obviously got the cousins and everything down in London. And this whole attitude to having children. And she obviously really wants children. And I was like, I don't really know. I was like, I'm not ruling it out, but I'm not saying, yeah, definitely, I like children with you. And then as time's gone on, and I see her with children, I'm like, I want her to mother my children. Do you know what I see? I see these qualities within her. So that's why I asked you if you saw that with your husband.
I mean, when I decided that I wanted to have kids, and Mark was just like, yeah, whatever. Fine, if you do. And then also, it took us a while. So I think that made me want it even more because
you
just
couldn't have it.
Typical, like, I want this now. I'm not pregnant day one. Yeah. And it got frustrating. It took us like 14 months to get pregnant with first. Yeah. So I was, so that definitely made me want it more. And I kind of I knew that it would help my family. Yeah. Like,
so it wasn't an age thing for you. It wasn't like you get to a certain number and you think, because they do say, is it between
like 35
30,
or something? It drops off massive or something.
Is it between 30 and 35? You haven't had children. Everything in your body's like reproduce.
Yeah.
That's why you don't really find. We do find them, but they're usually batshit crazy. But many single women at that age, they'll cling on to anything just for the possibility.
Yeah, and IVF is that's why. I mean, IVF has still got shocking rates, but like more and more women are having to have it because realistically, like, 30 is still so young. And 30, I think the average age now to have a kid is 32, which compared to like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, is so old.
See, Hazel is
and reproductively, that is pretty old.
Yeah, Hazel's probably going to be 25, and I'll be 28.
That's fine. The bloke doesn't matter, but it's like, the problem is, it's all right saying to women, oh, go and, have kids quick, because reproductively it goes downhill from 25, and from 35 you've got fuck's chance, but realistically, our lives are happening a lot later. Women are studying, women are getting good jobs, so suddenly at 24, 25 they could still be studying, or 1 year into a decent job they're just gonna and they might not have met anyone. It's difficult, isn't it?
That's the hard thing, isn't it?
It should be the other way around. Men should be having the kids, and women who are more interested, women who are probably like better at life should be like the ones working and staying in their jobs, and you guys who are just not as good at life and stuff,
but don't you think
should come out the job market and have the kids, because the job market would miss you guys less than they'd miss women. But
don't you think that if men had
children,
sorry, men had women,
they'd be awful things.
The gender role would just be completely reversed.
Yeah, I mean,
like men wouldn't have been able to get to where men are.
Yes, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And the world would be a better place for it because women would rule the world.
I don't think that would be the world's a better place.
Oh, I do, definitely. Women are just better at conflict scenarios. They're just less power hungry.
Really?
Yeah,
you think so?
Yeah, definitely. They're more diplomatic.
Oh,
yeah.
I
think if we had Hillary in the White House instead of Trump.
Yeah, but these are two people. Trump can't be the male representation, and Hillary's not a great female representation.
She's better than Trump.
I think the whole idea of, like, I did a lot of work before I was unable to work anymore, getting people out of corporate jobs and into boardroom advisory positions, right? And the idea of a mixed boardroom, right? Mixed experiences from mixed industries, backgrounds, the most diverse group of people that you can have is the best group recruit
Yeah,
to leave.
of course.
Right?
I'm
So
being,
this-
slightly facetious. No, absolutely. The problem
Yeah.
with most boardrooms is it's,
Yeah.
95% male.
But
and
it's not
male
even,
of a certain type.
if it's 95% male, if it's an engineering or an accounting firm or whatever, it's 95% males that have worked in that industry and never really done anything else. They've
Absolutely,
never looked
yeah.
outside of that.
Yeah, little life experience. They might be great at their actual niche market, but
Yeah.
awful individuals, or
Yeah.
socially inept, or emotionally incompetent, or all of the above.
You're just listing off some of the men you've dated in your time.
Yes, so some of the men I still have to see all the time.
Oh no.
No, because I play. I play squash. Like a lot. So mostly I play men.
Okay.
And I've played at 2 squash clubs in my life, and so that most of them are white older men.
Okay.
And,
Are these men you've dated though?
No.
All right.
no.
Okay.
But like,
Why do you play squash?
and obviously I know a lot of men through my brothers and
Yeah.
stuff. I've kind of always grown up in a very male-dominated environment, whether
Okay.
that's from, even though I went to a girls' school, which is one of the reasons why my parents sent me to a girls' school, because they wanted to get me away from boys. Not that I was like a 7-year-old slag, but because I had my dad and then eventually my stepdad, but then all my brothers, so then my brother's friends, and I was quite bullish and headstrong, and
It's a little bit like my sister.
they thought send me to a girls' school.
Did you have a hard time? When did you have your first relationship? Like proper relationship, not like a schoolyard fucking fling. Like I'm talking like.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about this.
How old were you
Dad.
though?
Like sixth form.
Okay.
Like,
so it's 17.
16, 17, yeah.
Okay.
Like college, you would call it.
I didn't go to school here, so I can't quite figure out.
Yeah,
how it works. But
so
the last
my
year of
school was until 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And then because my sister, because she grew up around brothers and boys, exactly. Now she only had 2 brothers, right? But then we obviously had predominantly male
friends, yeah,
right? So
exactly.
she would constantly be around
Boys.
these boys, right?
Penises.
Her attitude towards boys was just like, they're shit. I don't want to know them. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? It was this anti-boys thing. And I believe in high school, there was no boys, and then when she got out and she got to uni, and me and my brother had both left home and everything else, then she sort of started to then go and search for that male attention, because there wasn't any at home. And not that we were giving her male attention in the wrong way, but just having a conversation with a blow.
Yeah.
Just because they're interesting. And sometimes she'd be like, I prefer to be friends with boys, because you just know what you're getting.
Yeah, well, that was I think that's what was why my parents sent me to girls' school, because I loved hanging out with guys and my brothers. But also because they were older than me, I remember at girls' school getting into trouble a lot for like just saying things how they were to a friend. And they'd be like, oh, you can't say that because that'll upset her. And I'd be like, so? That's her problem. And they'd be like, well, but guys just say things.
Yeah.
And I was just totally grew up. And I've got loads of guy friends. I love men.
Yeah.
And I do like that.
Just say how it is, you know where you stand.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I still, have to kind of, I shouldn't say that to that person because they're quite sensitive. I'm just not like that. Like, I don't give a shit. If someone could say to me, I don't like you because of this, and I'd be like, fair enough.
Yeah.
You can't like everyone. Or I don't think your comedies that's funny. Well, not everyone has a great sense of humour, so fuck you. Like, it doesn't bother me.
Do you know what
That's
I noticed
fine.
the other day, right, when I was talking to someone? I realised I'm not friends with these sensitive people. Like anyone who's sensitive, they're not attracted to me at all. Like they're not drawn to me.
Yeah.
Or if they are, the appeal rubs off real quick.
Yeah.
And I was like, none of my friends I've ever been worried about what I would say or anyone else I would introduce them to.
Yeah.
I just don't attract sensitive
Yeah, I would
people.
with my close friends, or maybe it's just because they know me and allow me. But I agree. Like, because I think that it's a banter thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're afraid of what you can or can't say,
and England's so much crazier for it than Australia.
Massive banter.
They
land.
try to.
For sensitivity. Totally, yeah.
And for banter as well. Like the banter here
Well,
is
it's
like,
linked, isn't it?
It's fun. It's like it's all like a game to be horrible to each other. Whereas I when I went back to Australia, I started doing it with my Aussie mates. I'm like, why are you being a dick? Like,
You're like, I'm not. I'm being funny.
I thought it was
Why are you
fun.
being mean? Like, I'm not. I'm being funny.
But it's not like they're sensitive. They're just
boys grow up.
fun.
That is what boys are like.
Yeah.
You grow up. It's who can be the cleverest, the funniest.
Yeah.
who can take the piss, and no one's above having the piss taken out of them.
Yeah. That's what you got to mean.
Yeah.
That's when you've got to realise. Sometimes you just got to admit defeat.
Yeah.
Like I've come here in sliders and socks, and when I left the house, Sean had some choice words to say about me. I just let it wash off.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I'm going to do a podcast, mate. You just stay playing Xbox with your little brother.
Yeah. But like it's a true. Guys are very different to a lot of girls in that respect.
Yeah.
You know. But then maybe in a business meeting, you know,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be more.
Have you ever been in a business meeting?
Apparently.
You don't strike me as the type of person who's
Well,
ever
I
been
know,
in a
because funnily enough, I do a lot of work for. I do a lot of corporate acting work.
Okay.
So for various companies that hire actors to train their staff or for hiring staff
Right.
in how to behave, how to approach difficult situations, or say if you're a senior manager, like I do a lot of work with Manchester University Hospitals Trust, so within hospitals, and it's generally with the management. So say they're hiring for a top dude senior manager who's on like 250k whatever, so big noise, and it's like, well, how would you manage this less senior manager who is seen, you know, he's something must be going on in his social life, in his personal life, whatever.
And you're hired as the actor to play that less senior manager.
Yeah, so we'll either have a pretend appraisal or a 25-minute catch-up, or...
And it's all recorded so they can manage.
It's all usually, you've got actual invigilators, kind of observers in the room while you're having this faux scenario, and it's like trying to get to the bottom of why I'm maybe being, you know, aggressive in meetings or just kicking off randomly. Or
do these pay well?
Yeah, it's good money.
That's
kind
so
of like
odd, because I had Di Ellis in here, who's also a working actor as well. And
right.
She does a lot of medical acting, right? For doctors.
I used to do that.
So she'll like pretend she's had a fall.
Yeah, I used to do that.
And I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, yeah, we get like 500-600 quid a day.
Yeah,
like,
I did used to do the medical role play. Yeah.
Acting's weird, man.
All companies do it, like private, you know, Vodafone, private companies to civil service.
Yeah,
massive. And but you learn in those because you're given a massive brief that you have to learn. You learn about like the trust's values and all that stuff. So how you're supposed to behave if you had a real job. Yeah. So if I had a real job,
you'd know.
That I now know how I should, if I ever have to go get a proper job.
Have a real job. How are you in interviews? I've done about 150. Oh, you've had a lot of jobs. No, not really.
I learned how to pretend to be one of you people, like a proper person.
I learned how to pretend. That's the worst thing. Because what is the real you?
Well,
you pretending like to be a comedian?
No, this is me. But like, I now know if I had a proper job, how to pretend to be that proper person.
Good. Well
and I have had real jobs in the past.
You'll be surprised to know we've done over an hour. Quite effortlessly. Because you're just so easy to talk to.
Thank you, darling.
Is there anything you want to promote? Anyone you want to thank?
I'm on it. I'm doing another 20 set at the Comedy Store this Sunday.
Oh, it won't be up.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Promote something like late April.
What am I doing? In March, I'm doing Rob Riley's gig.
Oh.
The lovely
In Chiltern?
Heaton comedy.
Oh, right,
Heaton's comedy evening. But that, I think, is the 1st of March.
Okay.
I've got some gigs in March, but I can't remember them. The one's in Bradford.
Okay.
The one's in
Cleck
Heaton.
I literally came back through Bradford.
Did you?
Yeah. And
Halifax way. I love it. I like it over there.
Oh my god. Well, I fucked up. It was just because the trains were all a mess and certain lines were shut, so we had to go around the way. Anyway, I ended up in a Wetherspoons in Bradford.
Oh, dreadful.
It was just the most culturally enriching experience I've ever had. Oh, the conversations are there. Just amazing.
That's good to just sit and listen and write down.
There was
Bradford Wetherspoons.
There was a guy with face tats, right?
Oh, nice.
That walked out in front of me, and I had a suitcase with me because we'd taken a bed there to sleep on, right? So he walked out in front of me, and he chocked the door open so it'd stay open for me, and there was a second door, so he chocked both of them open.
Nice.
I walked out, I said, "Thank you for that, mate." And he goes, "No problem, buddy, it's no skin off my nose." I was like, "Thanks, mate." And then the door had shut behind me, so Hazel come, and she was pulling the door, and he just turns around with a cigarette in his mouth, he goes, "It's a push, love." screams at her, and she's like, "Thanks, I wouldn't have known that," and gave him a bit of cheek, and he was like, "Have a nice day, beautiful."
Oh, that's proper North, that.
Yeah, it's proper North.
Says
But
how
he
it
looked
is.
rough as guts, like shaved head, face
tats.
Oh my god, it was like what would you call it? Almost like a Chinese character, but not a Chinese character. Just
He got it wrong.
Like markings on his face.
Oh no!
But it was cool. It was definitely cool. It was a cool guy. Shout out to him.
I like Halifax is around there, Bradford way. Yeah.
Halifax is.
No, I did a show around there. It's a really nice square chapel, I think it's called, Halifax. A really lovely theatre. There's quite a good cultural scene around there.
Tell us more in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
No worries.
Natalie.
You're welcome.
Stay safe.